Here's an AMI This Week shortcut with Alex Smyth.
If laughter truly is the best medicine, then hyenas have got to be the healthiest animals on the planet. I don't know if that's true, but I'm gonna find out. I'm at Toronto Zoo, where I am joined by zookeeper Josh, just outside of the hyena habitat. Josh, thank you so much for having me here today.
No problem, Alex, my pleasure.
So let's get started with the iconic noise of the hyena, that kind of laugh. Are they laughing? Are they communicating? What is that all about?
So yeah, hyenas are very, very vocal animals. They make lots of different noises. So they have that iconic laugh that everybody knows and recognizes. They also make a lot of grunting sounds, kind of groaning sounds and growling sounds. And typically that high-pitched noises are indicating like a submission to another hyena or fear. So a lot of the times you'll hear when the hyenas are fighting with each other or a bit of not getting along so well, the less dominant one will make this kind of laughing sound. Those really high-pitched squeaks tends to indicate submissive behavior.
And can you talk a bit about the distinctive look of a hyena? Because it has very unusual features. Can you kind of walk me through what they are?
Yeah, so these guys that we have here at the Toronto Zoo are the spotted hyenas. The spotted hyenas are the biggest type of hyena, and they have that sort of classic hyena shape with the front end, their front legs and their shoulders is really, really well developed. They have a very large head. Most of their head is made up of jaw muscles because they have those really strong jaws. And then their back slopes down and they have this sort of much smaller back end than the front end. And that really helps them out. So having that kind of sloped back end, these guys, when they're fighting with each other, or if there's other predators around like lions and leopards, typically those predators, when they attack something, they go for the back end, they grab on and drag down their prey. So the hyenas have this really sloped back, and when they are feeling threatened or attacked, they kind of drop down their back legs, kind of squat a bit, makes it really almost vertical, makes it really hard for an attacker to get a good hold on them. So it's a really good defense strategy for these guys to have that slope back and they drop it down even more. They can bite down with a force of about 1100 PSI. Everything about these guys is built for strong jaws and crushing.
And what do they crush in the wild? It's used for crushing, but what do they crush?
So the big thing they're crushing down on is bone. So hyenas, they don't waste anything at all. When they make a kill or when they come across a carcass that's been picked clean by other animals, they devour everything.
That's awesome. Well, and their coat is also quite unusual too because it has a few different layers. You mentioned these are spotted hyenas. Can you talk a bit about their coat, the colors, and the fur?
Yeah, so it varies quite a bit. I mean, these guys, they have a pretty light color overall, kind of like yellowish gray, brown base color, and then they have all those dark spots throughout their whole body. Their legs are pretty variable. Sometimes they're pretty light and that sort of grayish yellow brown as well. Sometimes they're almost black. So Echo, who's been walking around behind us here, his legs are almost solid black on the bottom. So it varies quite a bit. And the spotted hyenas, they have those really kind of light colored fluffy ears, and they're much more rounded off than the other types of hyenas.
And how big can a hyena get?
So it ranges by quite a bit. Typically, the females are quite a bit bigger. A small male hyena might only be about 40 kilograms, where a big female could be upwards of 80 or 85 kilos, really, really big ones. So they can be almost twice the size.
Hyenas seem to have a perception that, they are scavengers. They're not really hunters. Is that true?
They actually hunt more of their own prey than they scavenge. So these guys hunt as much or more of their own prey than lions do, but they definitely have that reputation of being scavengers and just kind of like picking up what other animals leave behind. But they will travel in groups. They hunt, sometimes they'll hunt solo and they'll go for smaller prey, but they'll hunt in groups of 5 to 10. They'll have big clans of hyenas, can be upwards of 80 or 100 individuals. So they get really, really big groups. And they will take down things like zebras and gazelles. Definitely one of the most social and socially dynamic of the carnivores, where they have these individual relationships. Hyenas know each other. They have past experiences with other individuals. They'll remember. Their pack structure is matriarchal, so the females are in charge. They are dominant, and they'll have these matrilines as they go. So the offspring of dominant females will be dominant over other animals, and then the males, they're down at the bottom. They kind of get last pick of everything. They're very social, they're very friendly, and they kind of got a bad rap from the movies over the years, but don't believe it.
Josh, thank you so much for taking the time to educate me on hyenas. I learned a ton, a lot I didn't know. Some it's good to get more details on, so thank you for sharing all that.
No problem at all, and thanks for coming out to the Toronto Zoo and meeting our hyenas here.